sorry about that. I absolutely could not continue this tour without being able to see my screen and see what I'm filming for you guys. Okay, that is so much better. Holy God. Alright, so you can see the Japanese beetles absolutely love my plum tree. No matter what I do, they just swarm this thing. I put clay on it, I put neem oil on it, I got traps upwind, downwind. I lay out the dead bodies of their comrades underneath because I don't like the smell of their stinking, rotting bodies. I do everything and they still just go so hard for this thing. I need to come out here every single day, every hour pretty much, spend a couple minutes. I either pick them off manually into a bottle of 99% isopropyl, which kills them really quick and sterilizes them for any future use I want, compost or feed the birds. Or if I don't have a lot of time, or there's a bunch like up there where I have to get the ladder to reach them, I'll just reach in here and I'll shake the tree a little bit. It'll startle them, all they'll all take off downwind, and then they hit the smell of that trap there, and like most of them go into the trap. A few will try to come back here, but I can watch them settle on the leaves and get them manually, whatever ones, or you could shake it again. Sometimes will work, just repeat, rinse and repeat. These sunflowers on this side are actually all the same because I actually had a bird feeder here with sunflower seeds in it, and they scatter it everywhere. So these ones are all black oil sunflower seeds, kind you have in bird seed. Okay, we can't miss out. It's this King Pumpkin over here. So he was just like a garden reject that basically put in this giant old recycling bin, and I said he can have that whole entire thing for himself, and we'll see how big he gets. Let's do the pots here. That's looks like 2 burgundy bush beans there. Got 2 unknown tomatoes here. They're not big enough for me to know what kind they are. I planted Roma's yellow pear tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, beefsteaks. I would guess these are probably the Romas, but I don't think you can really tell at this stage. It's a black dahlia. Nice pretty flower. It's not a pollinating flower, unfortunately, so it doesn't help the bees or anything, but it looks nice. This is that, and that are some celery root that I bought at the grocery store and just plopped it in there, so whenever we need celery, we'll just have some right here in the backyard. There's these really cool clovers that are growing in other people's lawns in the neighborhood that are like pink and fuzzy. So I saw some in a public part of a lawn, and I grabbed a couple that looked like they were close to seed. And I'm gonna start them here and hopefully grow some of my own of those and get them into my own lawn because they're nice, and bees really love clovers. This guy's just a really old dill plant. It's been harvested pretty nicely, as you can see. We've got a couple here. The seeds are going to be ready on these ones soon. They're going to get plopped into some new soil. Okay, this here is called crack for bees and butterflies. Well, it's actually called a butterfly bush, but it's crack for bees and butterflies. It's early in the morning, and for some reason they stopped coming to this one when I planted it directly into the ground. I'm wondering if if you can see where it is here, I'm wondering if I kind of cut off the wind path so they can't really smell it as well. But I mean, the pollinators flock in droves. I never saw a butterfly in my yard once in like the first 2 years I lived here, and I got one of these, and now I see 2 to 5 of them in the yard every time I come outside. And it's basically a guarantee to see. There's a white one you can't really see too well behind the magnolia. There's guaranteed to find a butterfly when you walk over that white one pretty much any time of day. All right, so this part is my blueberry. So he is, It's hard to tell the scale in the video, I'm sure, but he's quite big. And I'll tell you a story. Last year, the bunnies and the Japanese beetles ate him down to a literal small couple-inch nub sticking out of the ground. And I was like, wow, there's no way that thing is alive or comes back next year. But happily I was wrong. You can see he not only recovered everything that the bunnies and the beetles took from him last year, but has even grown probably about double. He's at least the size he was before the damage happened. He's probably bigger, and he's still got a lot of time to grow. If you ever grown blueberries, this is what you do. Because I've had these blueberries here for a year or two now, and you know what? I planted these. We'll talk about this Three Sisters garden in a second. But this Three Sisters garden is a lasagna garden. So you basically layer compostable materials in thin layers. It's also called sheet composting. And you know, that's basically becomes your garden eventually. And so blueberries love decaying organic material. So the reason that he was able to recover all that damage, grow to the full size and more this year, all in 1 year, is because I planted this gigantic compost pile right next to him. So he's just getting all the runoff from this constantly, and he's just exploding. So if you're ever going to grow blueberries, put them in the ground, let them get established for a year or so they send out roots under the local area, and then just put a giant compost garden right next to them. You're going to have the biggest blueberries on the block. Okay, so let's do, this is my first 4-in-1 cherry tree. So it's a dwarfing rootstock, so it'll limit the tree, you know, it won't get much taller than this, so that all the fruits are kind of within reaching range. You know, the highest ones you'd be able to reach with a ladder for sure. So it's, you know, 12 to 15 feet tall. It caps out, can't grow taller than that because of the dwarf rootstock. And then, you know, each of the branches here are all a different grafted variety of cherry. So this one's Van cherry. This one is the Bing cherry. That's the dark red ones you get at the grocery store. This one is Rainier sweet. So those are the yellow ones that you get at the grocery store. I'm actually allergic. My throat will swell to the Bing cherries, but not to the Rainier cherries. So I really like the Rainier, although it's going to be interesting because with this many cherry varieties, I'm not going to be able to control the pollination very well. So I don't know if like the Bing cherry cross-pollinates the Rainier. Am I going to be allergic to the Rainier anyways? I don't know. And then this is a Lapins. I don't know. Self-fruitful dark red sweet cherry from Canada. Large, firm, good flavor. Similar to Van in color, Bing in shape. Sometimes sold as self-fertile Bing. Okay, yes, I'll probably be allergic to Lapins as well, but we'll find out. And then over here we have my other 4-in-1, and this one's got let's see, Van, Black Tartarian, Lapins, and Bing is this one. I had to remove the tag because you can see here he got some kind of bacterial infection, gummosis, you know, type thing. I'm not really too much of an expert on that. I just discovered that yesterday, and so it's a new disease for me. First time owning cherries. I'm still learning about that one. It's, from what I understand, it's a bacterial infection that causes cankers like that ooze. I sprayed them with all that white stuff's the Colin clay. I sprayed them with some copper fungicide yesterday when I discovered this, because that's one way you can treat it, and it does seem like a lot of the oozing has massively receded. Like, it seems like it's working. So that's good. I'd be pretty sad if I lost that tree so quickly. And so, you know, they both got their guilds. I'm not gonna, you know, this video's like, what, already 30 minutes long, and we still got a ways to go, so I'm not gonna talk about all the companions in here. There's squash and beans and sunflowers and clovers, and there's a leek falling over, I'm not sure why. My patio tomato here, you know, see lots of tomatoes in there, and then he was standing up like a normal tomato until I learned, you know, everyone who grows tomatoes, you know, learns the trick eventually that you can rip off the bottom sets of leaves and plant them in soil, and the tomato will grow more roots from where the leaves were, and it will make it more sturdy and stable, and it can absorb more water and nutrients and etc. Well, the reason that tomatoes do that is because they used to be like a sprawling plant that goes across the ground like a strawberry. And so what they'd do is they'd grow like this, and everywhere they'd put down roots all along their stem. And I'm not sure exactly why, probably because they're more prone to disease or something, decided they should grow up. Yeah, I guess they're probably also like super accessible to rodents and stuff. You know, it's easier to cage them when they're going up probably, but you know, we said they should grow up instead of across, and so that's what we do. But you know, if you let them lay down like this, they'll actually put new roots all along the stem, and from what I heard online, other people have said they got more tomatoes than they've ever gotten any year doing this. So I laid them down, I think earlier this week or last week, I think maybe last week. You can see all these, you know, when the tomato growth is new, it's like golden on the inside and green on the outside, and it greens up as it matures. So you can see this here and this here. This here, those all grew, these flowers, fruits grew after I ripped off a bunch of his leaves and planted him sideways. So he is totally cool with it. We got some companion plants for him as well. We got a purple basil in there, and he did have a whole ring of scallions. But when I laid him down, I took out the ones on this side to give him more sun, because the sun comes up over here, as we can see, and then it traces a path through the sky. That tree shades us out for a little bit, then the sun comes through there, we get some sun, and that tree, there's my doves that are always around. I don't know where its partner is, they're always together. Then that tree shades us out again, and then the sun goes down, and that third tree back there shades us out a little bit, and you know, then it's sunset. So he's getting most of his sun from this direction that we're viewing right now, so I took out those scallions. They're not going to block that much sun, but I wasn't sure how he's going to take me laying him down like this and ripping off some leaves, so I wanted to make sure he got full sun there. And I was going to lay him down inside the Three Sisters garden, which is probably more fertile than this companion ring, but he was going to get shaded out by the corn in there, so that wasn't going to work. So, alright, now that is my Three Sisters garden. So if you don't know, Three Sisters garden is inspired by Native American, I shouldn't say inspired, this was a Native American growing technique where you'd plant corn and then you plant beans in between the corn, like vining beans. They run up the corn and use the corn as a scaffold to grow up, and they also produce nitrogen for the corn, which is a heavy nitrogen feeder. And then you also plant some type of sprawling squash to provide ground cover for everything, so the broad sprawling leaves of the squash shade the soil and the root system of the whole garden bed, conserve moisture, reduce the temperature, make it more habitable to insects, which then come in there and start breaking things down and leaving more nutrients for the plants to grow. And so the three of these, you know, they called it Three Sisters because they grow together and thrive like three inseparable sisters. There's lots of different variations you can do, you know, pretty much any sprawling squash, any vining legume, and well, you don't even need to do a sprawling squash. I've heard you can do strawberries too. It's really just sprawling leaf cover. And then your corn. And so I have a jumbled up mix here of peaches and cream sweet corn, Silver Queen sweet corn, and bicolor kernel sweet corn. And then for my sprawling squash, I have sugar pie pumpkins. They're 6 to 7 pounds, and they're sweet for eating. And, you know, unlike a jack-o'-lantern, which would be big and fibrous for carving. And I got a mixture of Kentucky pole beans, which grow a little faster, as well as Mosaic yard-long beans, which are a little slower to grow, but as the name suggests, they make beans that are up to a yard long. And these particular ones will be mosaic colored. I believe it's red, purple, and black mosaic. I can't remember the colors exactly. I did forget to talk about the guild here. For the blueberry, you know, we've got a bunch of nasturtiums here. Those are those flowers, and those leaf pad looking leaves are nasturtiums. I don't know, I have no idea what kind of tomato this is, because I don't know how he got here. I did not plant him in there. So we call those, you know, online they call them, you know, in gardening communities they call them volunteer plants usually. So that's what I do. So he's a volunteer tomato. I don't know where he came from or how he got there, but it should be interesting to see what kind of tomatoes he makes. And so, you know, anyways, these are the sugar pie pumpkins. That one right there is a Kentucky pole bean. And those ones in the back that are taller right now are some of the mosaic yard longs, but I have another one in the back you'll be able to see a lot better. The rope is there because, you know, corn is pretty top heavy, so if you plant it in a loose soil like a lasagna sheet composting garden like I did that's constantly settling in over time, they won't be as stable, and I get a lot of wind around here which can knock them over. Having them all together helps them keep each other up, but some will fall out the sides. So, you know, if I did it again, I'd plant them in firmer soil. There's some, way back there you can see there's some birdseed corn that grew itself in a pile of clay back there, and that the wind can blow as hard as it wants, that stuff do not move. But these, since the soil is so loose, they're prone to falling over, which, you know, won't kill them or anything, but, you know, probably not good for the roots, and they won't get the right sun if they're falling over. So this is my other blueberry bush. So this one did not get eaten down to a nub last year, so this one actually has some berries. We've been pulling them off and eating them, so none of them look ripe, but they are actively ripening. This one here is a Jersey high bush. The other one was a something low bush, I don't remember. But I found this one. You know, this one's got like more like evergreen like type leaves, a little bit waxy. And the other ones are a little bit softer, less waxy on the low bush, and it seems like the bugs will eat the other one a lot more than this one. So if you have bug problems and stuff like that, I recommend getting yourself a Jersey high bush if it grows where you are. It seems to be quite pest resistant. The doves are the only birds that are brave enough to come nearby me when I'm talking. All the other guys are real scared. So in this planter, you know, all these dead looking things are all Adirondack blackberries I stole from the Adirondacks, and by stole I mean I took them from someone's property where I had permission. But they were basically in a field of 1,000 other blackberries that wanted to attack me while I tried to remove them. So that was, you know, I got cut up all over. And then, you know, it's just an unkept field where they're growing. So you dig down around the roots and it's just like a matted knot of 1,000 different plant systems. Like, there was no way to gently pull out their root system, so I had to be aggressive. And so they didn't like that, and all their leaves and stuff died. I'm pretty sure they'll come back next year, though. They just don't have enough root system to support all the fruit and the leaves they originally had out. But you can see why I like these. You can see there's about 3 leaves or so per like 10 or 15, 20 fruit. If my phone will focus on it. You know, bunch of fruit per leaves. I know, I'm sorry, buddy. And this is the one, no, not this one. Ignore this thing here. This is the one I bought at the store. So you can see it's got the exact opposite. It's got like, you know, you look right here. It's got like 15 leaves for 3 fruits. So the native ones are, you know, way better. But they're probably not going to show up until next year. And even then, they might need a further year to establish themselves. And that really dark green one in there is a Chester blackberry that I bought at the store. These, let's find one. You can see these ones coming from below the soil with no obvious thing. You know, it's attached to this one that looks dead. Oh, I just bent that. Whoops. Well, if it broke that easy, it probably didn't need it. These are also a Western New York native blackberry, but they're thornless. Got them off Craigslist from a nice lady, you know, 10 or 15 minutes away from me that had way too many in her yard and wanted to get rid of them. So she was letting people come and rip them up for free. I have to do the work, but I get blackberries for free. Each one would be 20 or 30 bucks. At like a nursery or something. We got a Reliance red seedless grape over here. He's gonna need a fence here so that the rodents and stuff love to eat the grapes. So I'm gonna put a fence here. He's gonna grow up. Take a step back here. Grow up to the top of this bird feeder here. And then I'm going to run a line from that over to the garage, basically, and, you know, put some anti-squirrel device, basically a cap like this with a cone that prevents them from going around, but they can't go through. I don't know if I explained that great, but that should protect my grapes for at least, you know, 5 or 10 years. This is my strawberry, my ground strawberry. Came in a pot, and it was supposed to be an everlasting strawberry, and I put a very thin layer of grass on top of it, the pot soil, to mulch it, and that little bit of nitrogen was all the plant needed to say, I'm never going to make another fruit, and I'm just going to grow a ton of leaves. So it started doing that for a month or so. So I was like, all right, you're gonna like explode like that. I'm gonna put you in the lawn then. Strawberries, if you don't know, they send out these runners here. Okay. And then when the runners put a new node, they put new roots down in the soil and grow a new plant here. So like that's the original plant. And then these are all that, you know, that. Those are all new plants it's putting out by running. I'm trying to get it to invade the whole lawn basically so that I'll have, you know, the equivalent of wild strawberries in the whole lawn. They won't be that big, but they'll be a great way to distract all the bunnies and stuff from eating the plants I do want. And it's got a ring of scallions and leeks here because bunnies and rodents and stuff don't like them. So it's not 100% foolproof or anything, but the onions around your garden definitely do help. I forgot to mention it over here, but there's actually a those are all onions there, a ring of onions all the way around to protect it. It does work. You know, I find little rodent burrows trying to go in there, and they dig in right to the spot where the onions are growing, and they stop right there and immediately turn around and leave. So it does work. I mean, I'm not claiming it's going to be 100% effective. I'm sure a smart enough rodent will just go around. But if they come into contact with them, if they're trying to dig in there, they don't really like the onions. So yeah, he's doing good. And once he got like 5 of these over here, now he can send nutrients back there. So he sent these out. He found whatever he needed, and now you can see. Now he's making up for all that lost time where he didn't produce strawberries for a month, because now, I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm gonna have a ton of strawberries here. Okay, and this is the second strawberry plant I bought. He's kind of doing the same stuff as the first guy. He's trying to, he wants to get in the lawn here first and suck up something that he's looking for. I really don't understand what it is that they don't have in that pot, because they both are planted in literal potting soil designed exclusively for strawberries. So like, I don't like specifically soil designed to make your strawberries fruit. So I really don't understand why they did that. But whatever, it's fine. As long as this is all it takes, and then we'll start doing that. Can't complain too much. I mean, you can see he's almost got 4 or 5 in on this side. He's got one in right there. Looks like he might have another one in there. I'd have to get down and investigate, but so he'll probably make strawberries soon. I might even yeah, it doesn't look like there's any flowers forming yet, but before we go to there, we should probably go back to the front and do the other side of the lawn. So basically, there's my window. This is all the area that we just covered. Okay, up to there. And now if we walk over to that side and look back, okay, that's where we came in. There's my garage patio. Now we got to do all the plants here, and then we can go into the back, and then we're going to go to the front. And I have to pee, so we might be taking another video break here at 30 minutes or so. This is my mint. So these dark waxy ones, that's peppermint. These lighter green, fuzzier, fluffier looking ones, that's apple mint. Let's see here. This one is orange mint. This one's lemon mint. This one is the chocolate mint back here, and it's a little bit confusing. The peppermint, you can see the peppermint's over there, and then this guy looks kind of similar to the peppermint, but he's actually a berries and cream mint. He actually survived the winter. All these guys are new except for the berries and cream. He survived the entire winter, like the onion over there, with no care or help. We've got a Grow Anywhere blood orange citrus tree. So he lives inside when it's cold, and he gets to live out here in the sun when it's warm. See, he's quite happy, putting out a lot of new leaves. He did not do this until I fed him some Jadam microbial solution. If you don't know what that is, it's a Korean natural farming technique where you use very cheap materials like grass or leaf mold, sea salt, a source of food, and you basically culture microbes to improve the soil diversity. Every plant I've put that on loves it, but specifically this guy wasn't growing until he got some microbial solution. We have another purple basil here that's mostly turned green. Not sure why he did that. Usually purple plants do that when they get too much sun. They start going green, so Maybe he's gotten too much sun. I should be able to clip some of him off at one of the nodes and propagate some new plants that'll be purple again. Yeah, I need a bathroom break, so this is part 2 of the garden tour.